Hello, my friends. It is good to be with you. Thank you for joining us again. Hello, Susanna.
Hi, Abram.
I will hand it right over to Susanna, and she can take it away.
Okay, here we go. We're on the fly today. We're going to touch on trauma, memories, and grief. But I first wanted to mention how, because we just want to put this out in the field to suggest maybe a different way of thinking about yourself, is that the analogy that I would like to use is comparable to plants and trees, where they have what's called a tap root. It's the one single root that goes straight down, and then all other roots go out laterally from that tap root. So I like to use that analogy as the tap root being our core self, and that all of the roots that go out from that core self are the aspects, our aspects that we create, and we have many. And we are multidimensional. We have multiple personalities. We wear different hats for different areas of our life. And we like thinking of our beingness as being whole, as being one self-regulating system. And that all of these roots that come out from our core is where we get these ideas of the inner child and the twin flame and soul retrieval, thinking that these parts of us, these aspects of ourselves, are in different silos, and they're not. They're all part of who we are. It's all energy. It all taps into memories and the energy of memories. And concerning the taproot and the roots that go out, in my analogy, I bet you have something to add to that.
Absolutely. Thank you. That was very good.
Thank you.
First of all, nothing about you or anyone else can ever be broken. Nothing is broken about you. And the best, if you need therapy for any reason, if you think you do, the best therapy you can get is by talking with a good friend or talking with yourself in a mirror. Just stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself. Very good therapy for you. But again, remember, always remember, nothing can ever be broken about you because you are always whole. That taproot can also apply to consciousness. This is what you are. This is what everyone is. Everything is consciousness. This is all that there is, consciousness. And you split yourself, you grow roots from your consciousness, and they become conscious, subconscious, unconscious, and everything else. So keeping things simple. Remember, you're always whole. You're always a whole being and always a part of the universe and nature. Nature is always whole. The universe is always whole. And so are you, always whole. And from time to time, it might really seem like you have different aspects of you, or you are functioning with or within or from or by your conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind, and all the rest of your minds that you create and make up. It might seem that way. But you are just a whole being. And so is everyone on your planet Earth. Again, nothing about you can ever be broken. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Now, to touch on trauma, we've all experience trauma. Everyone will perceive and experience their trauma in their own way. What may be traumatic for me may not be traumatic at all for someone else. Sometimes anything that I experienced in my life that was trauma, to another person, they may experience even greater physical harm or emotional harm, but the end result may be the same. Loss of identity, loss of self-esteem, self-worth, a feeling of being unloved, abandoned, all of that. We've all experienced it. And while we're going through trauma, especially if we have a traumatic event and we disassociate ourselves while we're going through it, and then on the other side of the event, I know for myself on a traumatic event, I was in shock for probably about 2 weeks. I felt I was living in a surreal world. And then I assimilated myself back and I went on, not to speak of the trauma, for probably 30 years. But all of that is energy. The event is over, but we have the energy of that and the energy of how we experienced it. And some people can work with that and deal with it and assimilate it in a short period of time, and some people take longer. So would you like to add to that?
Thank you. Memory. The traumatic event has happened, and you have the memory of it. Years later, weeks later, hours later, does not matter. The memory is the energy of the event that had taken place, and that energy becomes a part of your consciousness, your whole consciousness. And with and from that, you will create aspects of yourself that will function in different ways, trying and trying and trying and trying to figure out, to rationalize, to sort out the event that had taken place that had caused you trauma. You're trying to deal with a memory. You can have a memory of a past event, a present event, and even from or of a future event. Because memory is timeless. There is no time for memory. It can be from the past, present, or future as well. A good way to deal with memory is to just sit quietly, just be in silence, sit in silence, and just don't try to relive anything. Just think about the memory. Just think about it. How does it appear to you? How does it feel to you? It will bring up certain emotions within you. Now remember, we have talked about this in the past. I will talk about it again right now to refresh your memory. Emotions, love, joy, sorrow, sadness, all the rest that you call emotions are judgments. They're labels. The real emotions are aspects of energy, which means they are all the same. Love is joy, that is sorrow, that is sadness, that is strength, that is anger, and all the rest. They are all the same. And they all function from one power. So, when you are thinking of the memory, and you begin having feelings and emotions, no matter what the emotion might feel like, you can change it. Just change it with having a choice. Make a choice to change it. Everything in life is based upon choice and emotion. Choice and emotion. Very simple thing to do. Thank you.
Okay, so you and I have talked before about memory, and excuse me. When we have a memory and it comes up, whether it's triggered by something or whether we're just thinking about the event that happened long ago. That when we talked, you said that we are actually reliving the event.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So when you say, if this comes up for someone and you say change it, how would you change it?
First of all, when you have a memory, you relive the event. Everyone does. It is a natural human trait. You relive it, but you do not have to relive it. You can keep yourself separated from it. Allow it to exist in its own reality, having nothing to do with you and or your present reality. I told you, think of the memory. Don't relive it. Think of it. Maybe you would like to just see it with your eyes closed, see it in your mind. Create a view screen in your mind and see the memory on that view screen. Just see it like you are watching a movie, not being involved emotionally at all, not at all. Then you are just seeing it. You are outside of, let me put it this way, you are outside of the effects of the past event which is causing the memory. So you would like to change how you are feeling about it, should you begin feeling and having memories of past memories and emotions of past emotions. They are all the same, wrapped up within each other all the time. So rather than to drive yourself crazy thinking, oh, how can I do this? What should I do? What should I not do? As you are seeing the memory on the view screen, change the picture, change the movie that you are watching. Have it be a different creation, a different event, and with a different outcome. When you watch a movie, there is the end, always one end, but not really. Many movies have 2 and 3 different endings, and then they choose which one would be best for our viewers. Well, I think that one. You can have as many endings to your memories as you would like to have. So change the movie. Have it, have, and be, and become a different ending, a pleasant ending. Then you can divorce yourself of and from that memory. Very simple thing to do. Thank you.
I have a question based on personal experience, and I know this has happened to you also, is when you have an event in your life, if you have something that has happened to you, whether you experience trauma on a daily basis or whether it was a major event, I know for myself, and I think that I have resolved everything, I'm good to go, everything's good, I can let go of it, and you go a few years and then it pops up again and you think, oh, I've already taken care of this, why is this coming up again? And you have the opportunity to look at it from a different perspective as you are in that moment, the person that you are in that moment. So I understand that each time that something like that happens, that we can take your advice and change it and not be involved with it. But why does that happen? Why do we go for years thinking, oh, we're done with that. I've already dealt with that. And then all of a sudden it pops up again.
Because at the time you are dealing with a certain set of emotions and you need to change some of them. So you will relive the memory of that traumatic event. Very simple thing. Once you relive it and, oh, here we go again. I thought I got rid of it. I thought I moved beyond it. Here it is again, slapping me in the face, showing itself to me. I have to relive it all over again and go through the trauma all over again. No, you don't have to anything. You can everything, which means simply you can deal with this new or seemingly new memory of the old memory in a different way. Any way you would like to. I told you, change the movie on the view screen. You change throughout your life. You become different persons, different people wrapped up in and within yourself all throughout your life. You become different all the Every moment of time you are different because you are making different choices, acting differently, reacting differently. You are always different people wrapped up into one individual. So maybe you are 1 million people wrapped up into you right now, you. Those are a lot of possibilities, a lot of ways you can change a memory. A memory is just energy, just a thought, energy. You can change it. You cannot destroy it. You cannot create it, but you can change it. So simply, if you go through it again later on in life, change it again. Have it become a different movie. See it differently on the view screen, if this is something you would like to do. Now, many people need trauma in their life. They feed off of trauma. It gives them identity. Boy, bad thing happened to me a couple of years ago. It is still happening. I can just feel it within me. I relive it every day. Oh, woe is me. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I not going to do? And they get attention, and it feeds their identity. And they feel good about themselves. Well, I'll go shopping, and in the middle of the grocery store, I will announce that I have a trauma taking place because the soup I want is not on the aisle. People make up traumas all day long. Pretty good imagination, I would say. If they have that good of an imagination, boy, oh boy, they can change things. If you can create something, you can change it. You ought to know this by now, and I think you do, my friends. If you can create something, you can change it. Very simple. Remember that. Always. Thank you.
When children are brought up in an abusive environment, whatever that may be, alcoholic parents, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual abuse on a daily basis. And children are innocent, and we believe what our parents tell us. And so when kids are brought up in a very harsh environment, and we end up believing what our parents tell us what we are, and we learn coping mechanisms. We learn how to survive in that kind of situation. We, especially with volatile parents, alcoholic parents, kids learn to read the situation. They learn to read the room. They learn to read people, which is a positive aspect of coming from that kind of environment. But a lot of the coping mechanisms, emotionally and mentally, that we create for ourselves to survive, we carry on into our adulthood. And so these coping mechanisms in our adulthood are no longer relevant to our survival. But they have become so much a part of us that it becomes idiosyncrasies and behaviors. And we express those as workaholics, shopaholics, drug users, alcoholism, and a whole range of other things, as well as passing on the abuse that people receive themselves. So when these coping mechanisms are no longer relevant to us, but they have become part of our personality, what is a good way of somebody to, if they're just beginning on this road of self-discovery, what would be the beginning for people to start to take a look at themselves and take a look at their behaviors and their emotions so they can acknowledge what they don't need any longer to survive?
First thing, if they can acknowledge that they have those situations taking place, when they acknowledge them, usually that is enough to rid themselves of them, of those situations, of those feelings, of those coping mechanisms. When you admit that you have a problem, As everyone says, that is the first step in resolving the problem. Now, how do you resolve the problem? Think of the tap root. You are the tap root of that tree. And all of those roots growing out from you could be the memories of a traumatic situation or coping mechanisms or different aspects of you. They could be anything, anything. So what would you like them to be? You have commandment over everything in your life and reality. Let me say that again. Not control. Don't try to control because things get out of control. You know this by now. You have commandment over everything about you, your life, and your reality, and your universe as well. Believe that or not. Change can be a very simple thing to accomplish. You just allow it to happen. You have allowed all of the coping mechanisms to take place within you. Allow them to go away. Oh, easier said than done. No, not really. Well, what do you mean, allow them to go away? What is wrong with you? Not too much is wrong with me. I don't know about you, but not too much. There are some things wrong with me, yes. And one thing wrong with me is I am crazy, yes. And crazy is all about being creative. So my problem is I am always creative. Oh, woe is me, I cannot stop being creative. Maybe you cannot stop being woe is me because you have to have something wrong with you. Maybe. There are many people like that, but you don't have to be that way. You can be any way you want to be. And all of those coping mechanisms are just aspects of you that you can, if you would like to talk to them. Yes, talk to them. What are you all about? How are you serving me? What can I do for you to allow you to simply fade into your own reality and not really be a part of me anymore? Talk to them. This sounds a bit crazy also, but it is a creative way to talk to yourself without talking to yourself, because too many people do not want to talk to themselves. Well, that is a very stupid thing to do, talk to myself. No, I don't, because they are afraid to, because they don't want to hear what they have to say to themselves. They are afraid. Just like going to a doctor. I don't want to go to a doctor. I am afraid that the doctor might tell me something is wrong with me. Same thing. Be bold. Talk to those aspects. Talk to your emotions all the time, all the time. Talk to your body. What can I do for you to have you be whole and creative and healthy? Talk to the coping mechanisms. What can I do for you so that you can just slip into your own reality, not having to be a part of me anymore? Because our time has come to a close. Thank you. I have love for you. You have served me, but no longer thank you. Command yourself, command your emotions, don't control them, don't control them. They will get out of control every time. Command them, have them be what you want them to be, what you need them to be. And think about what you need, because many times what you need is negative. And that is all right also, because you are positive and negative energy, and you have to be that way. Because you are alive as a physical human being. When you die, you will still be positive and negative energy. Opposing forces, opposing poles, you will always be that way. And you will always be able to get rid of those coping mechanisms by talking to them, have them understand that your time together has come to a close. They don't serve you any longer. So, and they will tell you what you can do for them, and do it. Do it. And usually they will say, love me, I need love. Do that. And you will see them, you will feel them, you will experience them going away. Love does not heal everything, but it can. Thank you.
What he was talking about, I know it works. It takes practice sometimes.
Breathing takes practice sometimes. Everything takes practice. So practice at practicing.
Living takes practice.
Absolutely. And so does dying and everything in between.
Yeah, we practice every day.
Absolutely.
But I know it works. I know it works because I was at the very end of resolving a long-term emotional trauma.
And never look at anything as being long-term because, hey, there's no time.
That's true. It's true. Everything's in the blink of an eye.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I asked my emotions concerning this subject, what is it that you need me to know? And I received an answer. It wasn't right away. I think it was probably the next day that surprised me. And then I said, where does that come from? What does it mean? And I received my answer. It works. It works. I'm not going to go, my next book, I'll go into it, but not right now. Oh, that reminds me. I think the next video might be well, no, I think I'd like to have you with me too. I just would like to do a book review on books that have been important to me since the 70s. It's not a large group of books, but it's reaching from the 70s until now. Books that I would recommend.
All right.
Would you be up for that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We can also, in the next video, we can talk about grief.
Oh, yes.
For one whole video, grief.
Yes. Yeah, very important.
Many people are grieving about something.
Yeah.
So we will talk about how to deal with grief. Anything else, my friend?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Then I think we are done for today's video. Thank you for joining us again. Susanna, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love you. Enjoy your day. And we will see you again. Thank you.